This is the Aristides 070R. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? My name is Faisal and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the build timeline of this guitar and what my experience was like dealing with the wonderful folks at Aristides. I'm not really going to be spending a lot of time in this video talking about what these guitars are. There are a ton of videos floating around online for you to check out. What I want to go through here is the step-by-step process from the moment I started thinking about purchasing a guitar up until it got to my doorstep. A lot of people have come up to me and have asked me what my experience has been like and how long it takes, and if I could give them concrete examples. So I thought, you know what, this video might be helpful if you've got a guitar or a build that's on the way and you're trying to figure out, what's a good time estimate. Then perhaps this video might be of assistance. If you're thinking of pulling the trigger and want to purchase a guitar, then this video should give you an idea of what to expect moving forward. Now, obviously, each person's experience is different, and there are a lot of variables that affect how long it takes for a guitar to get to your door from the moment you place the order. Things like what model you decide to go with, what finishing you want, if you want custom inlays. So in this case, we are looking at the Raw series, which at the moment on the Aristides website, it takes 6 to 9 months from the moment the order is placed. So the entire process of this build took 6 months and 11 days, from May 5th, 2022 to November 15th. So here's how it started. So the first thing I did was I reached out to folks at Aristides on May 5th of 2022. At this point, I had an idea of the type of build that I wanted to put together. I knew that I wanted a 7-string. I knew that I wanted a guitar that was either purple or a lilac. I just didn't know what hardware combination would look good, whether I should get the polymaths, which are on this guitar, or if I should stick with what I have on my 060, the Ragnaroks. And so I thought, you know what, why don't I reach out to them and ask them a couple of questions and see what they have to offer. Perhaps they could provide me with some examples. To be honest, I really wasn't expecting much, but almost instantly after I reached out and sent my first email, I got a response. I just have to say that their customer experience is like nothing else. They treat you like you are their priority at all times. And I think this is actually a unique feature of this company. I've looked online and I've seen video tours of their factory and the number of builds that they have. So it's amazing how they treat the customer experience like a one-on-one interaction, and they make you feel like you are important and that your build matters, irrespective of whether they're building guitars for other artists or whether they're building a guitar for their highest paying customer. None of that. They were awesome, they were easy to deal with, they were easy to understand, and they provided me with a ton of examples so that I could think about my build. And so that's essentially what happened. After my first email, we kept bouncing emails back and forth, just talking about different color combinations, what pickups would sound good on this guitar, and eventually, 5 days later, on May 10th, I went online and I filled out the form. So to do that, you go to their website, click on the How to Order button, and fill out the information that's on their build form, which is pretty self-explanatory, and then you hit submit. Once I hit submit, I got a confirmation email from Jaron at Aristides, who said, hey man, I just want to confirm that this is exactly what you want. Once I get the okay from you, we'll go ahead and put your guitar in queue. And by that time, I basically said, yes, this is what I want to go with. And so I pulled the trigger and my guitar went on queue. Honestly, the hardest part about this whole process is the waiting game. because this isn't a situation where you can just head over to your guitar store or place an order online and it shows up at your doorstep in 2 days. This is essentially a build that starts from scratch. I thought, you know what, once I set my order, I'm not going to hear back from these guys until the guitar was done. On the contrary, I got an email from them every single month. And it was essentially an update of my build. It would be a picture or 2 pictures, and essentially it just shows what stage of the build my guitar is at. So I got an email in June, in July, in August, and then in September, I got an email saying that they're at the final assembly stage and they just wanted to confirm a few more details, whether my address is still the same. And then the last email I received from them with respect to this build was in November. I believe it was November 4th. And I received an email saying, here are the pictures of your guitar. We plan to ship it out on Wednesday. All right, so shipping. The guitar left the Netherlands on November 9th, and I picked it up on the 14th. Yes, I picked it up, and we'll get to that in a little bit. The first thing I got was a tracking number from FedEx, which allowed me to track the order, and I would get a ton of updates. I mean, at every step of the shipment process, I got an email. And that was helpful because I sort of had an idea of where my guitar was at. Obviously, you're anxious, your guitar is in shipment, you don't want anything to go wrong. And I received an email on November 14th saying that my guitar had arrived in Vancouver. I ended up paying the custom fees. It took a day for everything to process. And so when that happened, I decided to call FedEx and I asked them to keep the guitar in the pickup center so that I could come and pick it up myself. Now, the reason I did that is because I live in an apartment and I just didn't want a FedEx delivery person to come by and not see anybody at the front desk or not be able to reach out to me. So I thought, you know what, maybe the safest option is for me to go and pick it up from the shipment center. And that's what I did. Drove over, I picked it up from the shipment center, loaded the box in my car, came back home, and I opened it up. The packaging was great. It came with a mono gig bag and a bunch of goodies as well. That was my experience in dealing with these guys. And honestly, yeah, the weight does suck, but once you get this guitar in your hands, it's like nothing else. This guitar is so unique. Each build is unique in and of itself. So on that note, I highly recommend that you check these guys out. Give them a follow on Instagram. They've got some crazy builds. I do have an H08 on the way. That guitar certainly took longer than a year. It's got one of their amazing finishes on there. Once that guitar comes in, I will be making a review of it, hopefully, and perhaps walk you through the build process of that guitar. Meanwhile, feel free to check out videos on my channel and hit that subscribe button, or not. Totally up to you. We'll see you next time.